If you are looking for fast-paced thriller book recommendations that are going to hold your attention, you're in the right place. Hello friends, my name is Michaela. Welcome back to my YouTube channel where we talk about all things thriller books. In today's video, we are going to be speaking about some thriller book recommendations that fit into so many categories. Fast-paced, books to get you back into reading, books that are going to get you out of a reading slump, the creme de la creme of thriller book recommendations, if I say so myself. A massive thank you for taking the time to click on this video. I appreciate you more than you know. I'm going to shut up and get into the recommendations. Let's get into it. The first book I'm going to start with is a book that actually got me back into reading. So I have been a reader my whole life, but I think like most people, I have fallen out of it sometimes, and then I get back into it, and then I fall back out of it. This is the book that got me back on my thriller book journey in 2021, 2022, and I have been obsessed ever since. Did You See Melody by Sophie Hannah? I remember exactly where I was when I was reading this book. I was reading it round a pool, I was on a holiday, and I was like, wow, this is a thriller book, and my obsession reignited. I want to say though that this has got a different name in America, so I'm going to put the cover on the screen for the US edition because I'm 99% sure, I can't think of it, what the name is in overseas. So in this book, we meet our main character who is called Cara. Cara is sick of life. She's done with her family. She's like, I need a break from you all. You're all doing me head in. I'm off on holiday. So she books herself a little 5-star retreat. She gets there really late at night. She goes to the check-in desk and they're like, yes, no problem, ma'am. This is your room key. She goes up to her room. She lets herself in. When she gets in there, somebody else is in her room. And they are with a girl that looks exactly like a girl that is being reported as missing, and her parents are in prison for her murder. Obviously, like, she quickly goes downstairs and is like, yeah, you've given me the wrong room key and there's a missing person in that room. When they look into it, that missing person is no longer there. So did she really see Melody? This is a book that I don't see anybody talking about, and I don't know why. And I'm going to be real with you, the Goodreads ratings for this aren't very high. They're not. But I gave this book 5 stars, and like, I don't give books 5 stars very easily. I feel like it takes a lot for a book to give, like, for me to give it 5 stars, and this just wowed me. So like, don't listen to the Goodreads ratings, all right? Listen to what Michaela reads, and then if you hate it, you can't blame me, all right? Because I have kind of warned you at the same time. And even though I read this book back in like however many years ago, I still remember everything about it, like, and I still vividly remember like how I felt when I was reading this book, and that to me, like, is the perfect example of an amazing book. That's what this book did to me. Please go read it because I don't see anybody talking about it. Drowning by TJ Newman should be the blueprint for fast-paced thriller books, because I don't think I've ever read a book that was as fast-paced as this book. Now, just a bit of a warning, this is about plane crashes. Something about me is I am terrified of flying. I won't say I'm terrified. I will get on a plane, but like, I really, really don't like it. Like, I won't let it control my life, but I hate it. So tell me why I thought reading a book about a plane crash would be a good idea. I don't know, but it got me, like, it gave the emotions that like I wanted a book to give me. So this book starts and the plane takes off, and very quickly they realize the plane's going down, and they make an emergency crash landing onto the ocean, but they can't get out. They can't get out as the plane starts sinking. The plane starts sinking to the bottom of the ocean. So the plane essentially then becomes like a bit of like an oxygen chamber. Like, they've got a certain amount of oxygen left inside the plane before the oxygen runs out and they're all gonna die. So like, they need to figure out a way to get out, and obviously then there's people on the ground who are also trying to save them. Books don't make me cry. Like, very, very rarely. I want to say there's like a handful of books that have made me cry. This book made me sob like a baby. Like, I remember I was in bed and I was reading it one morning. It was like an early weekend, and Amy looked over at me and she was like, and I was hysterical, like somebody I know had died. Also, a bit of a fun fact, the author of this book is an air stewardess. She was an air stewardess for a long time, and all of her books are about plane crashes because she has got that knowledge. Like, so I mean, I'm guessing she was never in a plane crash. I really hope she wasn't, but she understands like how planes work in those situations because they're trained, right? And if you want to be really wild, you could read this on a plane. I feel like that would be mental. I would never. If anybody has read Worst Case Scenario by TJ Newman, this is her newest release. Please can you let me know? Because I really want to read that. I haven't read Falling either. The only one I have read from this author is Drowning. Incredible. Go and read it and tell me if you cried. If you have read it, did you cry? Tell me. The Pact by Sharon Bolton is one I've actually spoke about on my YouTube channel quite a few times because I always said it's an underrated book. Not enough people are talking about it, but so many of you have now read it and also told me you loved it, which makes me so happy. So I'm including it in this video too. This follows a group of teenagers who are all on their summer holidays, and to entertain themselves, they're doing stupid pranks. Like they're daring themselves to do even more dangerous things, like it's getting out of control. And then one day they go too far with these stupid pranks and a family end up dead because of what they did. I want to say there's like 6 of them. So instead of all 6 of them going to prison, one of the girls says, listen, I will take the fall for us all. I will go to prison for it on the condition that when I get out of prison, each one of you owe me a favor. Fast forward like 20 years, she's now out of prison and she's like, bitch, I'm here. I am ready to collect on my promise. But all those other people like completely forgot about it. They were like, she's never going to come back for it. She's back. Sharon Bolton is the queen of short chapters. Like she is the queen of short chapters. So like, I always feel like if I'm looking for a fast-paced book, that usually corresponds with like short chapters because you're constantly just like, all right, fine, one more chapter. All right, fine, one more chapter. Like that to me makes a book go so much quicker. And I think it is that whole like just saying, all right, I'll just read one more chapter. Whereas like, for example, Karen Slaughter, like I have to commit if I'm picking up one of her books. Like I know I'm going to be reading like a 40-minute chapter. And that's exactly what you want in a fast-paced book, short chapters. Sharon Bolton, she's going to deliver. Such a good thriller book. And like the twists and turns it takes, wow, you won't ever see them come in. It's not very often that you will find me recommending YA books, but that's exactly what I'm going to recommend to you because this one is a good one, and it's That's Not My Name by Megan Lally. Something about me is I love the amnesia plot. Like I literally love it so much. This follows a girl that wakes up on the side of the road and she is battered and bruised and she's got no idea how she got there. And she got no idea who she is. Like she's completely got amnesia. A police officer finds her and takes her to the police station when a man comes in frantic saying, that's my daughter, he's got her birth certificate, he's got her school ID and says her name is Mary. But is her name Mary? We then get another point of view of a guy called Drew who had an argument with his girlfriend Lola one night. She got out of his car, stormed off, and she was never seen again. And everybody thinks that Drew murdered Lola. So how are these stories connected? How are they gonna like intertwine? I think that's the word. Do you know what though? Like when I was reading this book, all I kept on thinking of was that song. I was like, that's not my name. That's not my name. I personally don't think this read too YA. There was a lot of pop culture references that did do my head in a little bit. Like Lizzo kept on getting mentioned and I was like, oh no, I don't like it. But if like you put that aside and like just look at the plot and the story and the twists and turns this book took, I really did enjoy it. Like it's actually really sad as well. It's actually a really sad thriller book and it's such a good length. It's like 300 pages. 300 pages, the perfect length for a thriller book. Like it's to the point, no messing around, you know what I mean? Just a good, fun, solid time. Megan Lally has got a new book out as well. I think it's called No Place Left to Hide, which came out this year. And I've not got around to reading that book yet. But if you have read it and enjoyed it, please let me know because yeah, let me know if I should pick it up. Okay, hear me out. Don't click out this video, right? Just hear me out. Never Lie by Freida McFadden. I know, guys, I know I'm a fraud, all right? I bang on all the time about how I don't like Freida McFadden, and I still don't. But this I enjoyed from her. I actually did. And a lot of you know that my fiance Amy has recently got into reading, and something she likes is like easy to read books, like fast paced books that are going to hold her attention. And so I told her to read Never Lie and she flew through this. She got through it so quick and she's not a big reader at all. So this follows a couple who go and view their dream home. It's kind of like in the middle of nowhere, but when they get there, the estate agent is just not there. Then there's a snowstorm and they get trapped inside the house. Like they have to take refuge inside the house and wait for the storm to pass. But this house belonged to a psychologist who went missing 4 years ago without a trace. Nobody ever knew what happened to her. Because they're trapped inside the house, they're a bit bored and they decide to go digging when they find under the floorboards some tapes from this psychologist and her sessions with people, and they start listening to them. And the pieces slowly start coming together of what actually happened to this like missing psychologist. And guys, I'm gonna be real with you. I enjoyed this book. I gave it 4 stars. I actually asked Amy, I said, what would you have rated this? And she said like 4.5 stars. So she really did enjoy this. But I'm going to be real with you. The twist makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense. Like, I feel like I have to say that. I feel like I just have to put that out there. Okay, I've got a rep to protect because, like, yeah, if you deep it too much, it doesn't make sense. But if you want a book where you're going into it and you just want to have a good fun time, like this is one to pick up. And that's the thing with Freida McFadden. I do think that's why she's so popular, because her books are so easy to read. Like, the reading grade level is really low, and they just contain twists that are so out of the park that you will never guess them. So, like, you're literally like, what the fuck? Where did that come from? And then when you actually like work it out, it makes no sense. Is this a good time to ask you to subscribe to my YouTube and like give this video a thumbs up if you like it? Because I promise, like, you won't very often get free directs on me. Very rarely, all right? Please subscribe, stick around if you love thriller books. Good thriller books. There is a rumour going around that John Mars and Freida McFadden are the same person. Guys, John Mars is one of my favourite authors. If that came true, I would have to leave the internet. I would be done. My reputation would be in the floor. It would be in tatters, and I would have to leave the internet. But it's not true. It's not true. If one person is going to save you from a reading slump, or you want an easy, fast-paced read, or you want to get into reading, John Mars is your man. Call up John Mars. He's your man. I'm going to recommend to you You Killed Me First, which is John Mars's latest book. It came out this year. This follows a woman who wakes up. It's bonfire night. She wakes up and she's inside a bonfire. And she's like, oh my God, how the hell did I get here? We also don't know who the woman is. So then we flash back in time, and we are in this like kind of like affluent neighborhood in the UK that contains like rich-ish people. And we then meet 3 women, and which one of them is in the bonfire, and what did she do to end up in that bonfire? The best way I can describe this book is like Desperate Housewives as a thriller book. Like, that's the best way I can sell it to you. This was so different for John Mars. I feel like quite a lot of his books are like quite dark thrillers. And don't get me wrong, this is quite dark. But I also feel like this was like a bit less serious. It was a bit fun. It was a real page turner. Exactly what you want. It took like some mad turns that I really wasn't expecting from John Mars. And I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, John Mars, yes. You can just tell he had so much fun writing this book. Like, you can really tell. And like some of the characters in here, like, they're the sort of characters that you love to hate. I feel like John Mars just writes such good, unlikable women. But quite honestly, you can read any of John Mars's books and you wouldn't be steered far wrong. Another thriller book that I gave 5 stars that I was not expecting to love so much is No One Saw a Thing by Andrea Mara. This was the first book I read from Andrea Mara, and I feel like it was the book that like blew her up. Like, this book went crazy. Everybody loved it, and I feel like now, like, she is just a top author, you know, and I feel like this book was the start of that for her. And it actually doesn't make much sense why I like this book so much. I don't actually know, because I've said it so many times, but I'm over missing kids. This book is about missing kids, because the book starts out and a mum is in London and she's getting on the London Underground with her 2 children. The doors are closing, so she's like, quick, get on, puts the kids on the train, and the doors shut, leaving her kids on the train and her stood on the platform. Like, I don't know about you, but that is probably every mum's like worst nightmare. So she runs and gets help and finds like the train station staff, and they were like, don't worry, like, we'll get somebody on the other side of on the next platform to meet your children, and we'll get you on the next train. Everything will be fine. Don't worry. She then gets to the next platform and only one of her kids is there. And the other kid's like, I don't know where she's gone. Like, the other kid's gone. And nobody saw a thing. See what I did there? I sound like a broken record, but like, and this is the theme of this video, but again, just fast paced, like page turners, short chapters, everything I wanted or want from a thriller book, like such good twists. It was amazing. And I actually haven't loved an Andrea Mara book as much as this one. This one's my favorite. I feel like the Mindfuck series by ADDICTIVE like had its moment a couple of years ago, and like everyone was loving it. Like it was huge on like Book Talk. The Book Talk girlies were obsessed, and like I don't feel like many people speak about it as much now, but I have heard a little bit actually, because it's just been announced that it's being adapted for a TV series. So the Mindfuck series is a series of 5 novellas, which like they're all like 100 pages long. So like I just read them completely back to back with each other. I treated them as if they were one book basically. And we meet our main character, who is a female serial killer. She is getting her revenge on men. She doesn't like men. Relatable? No, I'm joking. All my male subscribers, there's only a few of you, but I love you just as much. And then one day she meets a man and she falls in love, except he is an FBI agent and he is the person that is like looking for her. So this is actually quite a dark series. So I would really recommend like you check content warnings before you go into this, because it is actually really, really dark. I'm actually really intrigued to see how they're going to adapt this for TV, because it's a bit messed up. But like, if you like good for her books, it's definitely like a good for her. Like, you know, where you shouldn't be rooting for them, but you're like, yeah, go on. A lot of these books are also available on Kindle Unlimited. This one definitely is. And like I said, it's a series of 5 novellas, but I just read it as one book, which made it like 500 pages, I think. But I'm out of breath. Somebody just knocked on the door and I just had to run downstairs. God, I'm so unfit. Kind's Worth Killing by Peter Swanson is like an oldie but a goodie. Is it that old? I don't know. I do feel like this book gets recommended quite a lot, but for a good reason. So in this book, 2 strangers meet at a hotel bar. They are called Ted and Lily, and their flight gets delayed, so they end up like having a drink together and like chatting about their problems, as you do with strangers in an airport. And Ted starts to confess to Lily that like his wife's been cheating on him, like he's not having a great time, like he's not happy with her. And Lily's like, do you want me to kill her for you? And Ted's like, yeah, sure, that'd be great, thank you so much. Fucking wild. I tore through this book. I literally tore through it. Like I said, this is one that's spoken about all the time, and if you haven't read it yet, you absolutely should, because it is just like, it could be like the blueprint for thriller books, you know. Like I just feel like, I don't want to say too much because obviously like no spoilers, but like the twists and turns this book took, like I thought the characters were great. Something happens, oh god, it's so hard. It's so hard. I wish I could do like spoiler videos. I really do, because sometimes like talking about like the twists and you're just like, no, it's so hard to make these videos and like not spoil them. Cry. So there is actually like 3 books now following Lily. So The Kind Worth Saving, I bought that recently actually. I need to read that. What's the 3rd one called? Is it like 9 Perfect Murders? Let me check. I lied. A Talent for Murder. So there's The Kind Worth Saving, which is book 2, and then A Talent for Murder, which is book 3. I think that's right. Please tell me if I'm wrong. I also need to read more books on Peter Swanson, because this and The Christmas Murders, I think he's got a Christmas novella, which I read. I enjoyed that one. So if you've got any recommendations for me, as always, let me know. I love it. And if you are looking to start a series and you want to get into a series that is just going to blow your mind, Chris Carter is the author for you. He is the author for you. Chris Carter is the author of the Detective Robert Hunter series. And I think there's 13 books in the series now. There's quite a lot of books, but they can all be read as standalones. And whenever I say that, I always say like, genuinely, they can all be read as standalones. Like, and I never say that about books that are in a series, but these absolutely can, because quite a lot of information is repeated to you in every single book. And I had to take a bit of a pause on the series because I was getting sick of it. Like, because Detective Robert Hunter's got insomnia and he likes whiskey. And like, that is hammered home to you in every single book. All right. So if you read them back to back, you're like, I get it. I know. I kind of wish these like weren't written as a series, like as a standalone series. I wish they were written as a series. That's what I'm trying to say. But basically, we're following Detective Robert Hunter and his partner Garcia as they are solving crimes, like brutal crimes, brutal murders. And I mean brutal. Guys, these are some of the darkest thriller books that like I've ever read. So like, I'm not going to recommend to you like a specific one. I think what you should do is just read the blurbs of the ones that sound good to you and pick up one of those. Saying that though, I do think the first one was one of my favourite. And that's called The Crucifix Killer. That one was really good. But something I do notice in like the earlier ones is like women are spoken about in a very derogatory way. Very. And we all know I don't like that. It does improve, like, as the series goes on. He got a bit better. And he's also such a nice guy, and it makes me, like, want to, like, recommend his books even more, because, yeah, he is so lovely. Like, if you tag him in something on Instagram, he will, like, personally reply to you. He is so lovely. Loads of you have told me, though, that his books are quite hard to get hold of in the US, and I don't know why. I'm so sorry. Like, last time I met up with Simon & Schuster, and I was like, why? Tell me. But they're his UK publishers, so I just don't know whether he's not got a US publisher for, like, all of his books. But the books are set in the US, so that's crazy. And I also think he's American. He's Brazilian, but he was brought up in America. I am chatting shit. Okay, and the last book I want to speak to you about is The Perfect Child by Lucinda Berry. But again, like with Lucinda Berry, you won't go far wrong with like any of her books. But I'm going to speak about The Perfect Child today, because I don't really feel like I've spoke about it that much on my channel, actually. So in this book, we meet Christopher and Hannah, who are desperate for their own child, but they're really struggling to get pregnant. Christopher's a surgeon and Hannah is a nurse. When one day a child is brought into the hospital and she is in terrible condition, like she's been neglected, and she needs a foster family. So they decide to start the process of taking her in and looking after her and giving her the life that she deserves. But this child is a devil child. If you've ever been put off by having kids, this book will put you off even more. Like, I was like, nope, not happening. God, it's so messed up. It's actually so messed up. That's not a spoiler. Like, the book's called The Perfect Child, but she is not the perfect child. Lucinda Berry is actually a child psychologist as well, which I think is so interesting. So, like, her books, I always say, like, the writing is very similar to Freida McFadden. Like, the language that is used and, like, the age grade of writing, I would say, is, like, quite, like, very easy to read, which is what I want. That's not, like, a criticism at all. But they are, like, you know that she's done her research and she knows what she's talking about at the same time. Like, they're not a load of shit, basically. No offense. And yeah, this is just a book that'll make you feel rage like no other. Do you know when you're just reading a book and you're thinking, oh my God, I felt pure and utter rage while I was reading this book. And I think most people I've spoke to have felt exactly the same about it as well. There is a sequel to this, actually, which I've not read because it's only a novella and I just don't feel like I need it. I think it's called A Welcome Reunion, maybe. And yeah, it's just a novella. So if you are interested or you've read The Perfect Child and you didn't know that, there you go. And that is it, guys. That is the end of this video. These are all just fast-paced, page-turning thriller books. Books get you back into reading. I don't know what I'm going to call this video, but like I said, they fit into all of those categories. So I hope you find some new favorite books, maybe some books you've not heard of before. If that's the case, please let me know. I'd love to know. A massive thank you, as always, for taking the time to click on this video. I appreciate you. I hope you're having a lovely day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.